If you've built some success in life, yet you're still not where you want to be, or you know there's patterns of behavior that aren't serving you, and you find yourself stuck looping the same day, week in and week out, today I'm going to help you break through your blocks and get out of your own way. There are 3 things you have to overcome, not just one. So a lot of people think, I just need more discipline, I need more motivation, or I need to start habit hacking. That alone will not create the change that you seek, but these 3 things will. In today's video, I'm going to break down the 3 things you have to overcome in order to create the health, happiness, success, abundance, love, connection that you seek. Before we dive in, I want to offer you a free resource. The first step to creating change in life is always awareness. You can take the life assessment by clicking on the link in the description box below or visit my website, heatherhakes.com. The life assessment is a tool to help you uncover your blocks and create clarity and forward focus. Now let's get into today's video. What are the 3 things you have to overcome? And it's these 3 things that have created your current results, but these 3 things are what will create wanted results. So let's get into it. The first thing you have to overcome, which if you followed my content for any time, hopefully maybe you can even guess it. The first thing you have to overcome is self. It's you. It's the current version of you. And at some point, you have to realize if you're not happy, if you're stuck, if you're not fulfilled, if you're not where you want to be, the current version of you is not going to get you to where you want to go. So let's break this down. What does it mean you have to overcome self? Within the idea of self or identity, there are only 3 things that drive every current result in your life. And those 3 things are your habitual thoughts, the emotional states you live from, and your habits. And these 3 things combined equal your current results. That's it. So if you're not happy, if you don't have what you want in any major life bucket, you have to backtrack and look at how you've been showing up, who you are being. So for example, the easiest place to start is always emotions. I think of emotions as a check engine light. So if you're living in constant states of high stress, fear, boredom, overwhelm, lacking clarity, lacking motivation, which is what's driving your habits, the emotions are the first place you have to start. And it's your emotions that are driven by the thoughts you are thinking. So for example, if you're full of self-doubt, if you lack clarity, of course you're going to be inconsistent, procrastinate, or numb out on vices. What happens is you create this self-fulfilling prophecy, this self-fulfilling loop, and the results you have in your life are simply based on who you are being. So if you want new results, you have to change, and I will dive further into this. But that's the first one. You have to overcome self. The second one you have to overcome, and this is where most people start, which is why you don't have the change that you seek, because you're not getting to the root cause, which is you. The second one you have to overcome are your current circumstances. So what most people are doing is you keep looking at the reflection in the mirror, the dollars in your bank account, your body image, the state of your relationship, or where you're at in business. You keep looking at it. And then those results and circumstances just reinforce the identity, who you believe you are. Not enough, self-doubt, you'll never get there. You talk yourself out of greatness and become your biggest obstacle. So most people are here trying to change the effect, and that's what's going on in real world. You are the cause creating every effect in your life. But if you're trying to change it at the effect level, it would be like walking up to a mirror, not liking the image or the reflection, and trying to smudge the mirror. No, you have to change the image being reflected. You have to change the cause, who you are being, if you want new circumstances. So for example, a lot of people talk about habit hacking and motivation and discipline and hustle and grind. And if you just work harder and you need a new strategy and spend more on marketing. And all of that is surface level BS, because again, you're not getting to the root cause. You're trying to change your current reality at the effect level, and it doesn't work. So trying to change circumstances at the effect level looks like, okay, you know what? I need to get motivated. No. I need to work harder, right? This is like pushing a boulder up a hill. I need better habits. I need to get up at 5 a.m. and cold plunge. That'll do it. And it won't. Now, some of those habits are good, right? Like getting up and being consistent and repetition, yes. But these alone aren't changing the root cause. They're not changing the version of you that is driving the behavior, creating the results. So most people are stuck in this realm, trying to change effects by changing effects, and it doesn't work because you have to change the root cause. Now let's talk about the third one, and then I'm going to tie them all together so you can put all three of these in order. Understand the sequence of transformation and start creating the change that you seek in your life. So the third area is time. And here's what I mean by this. We have been conditioned and programmed to believe in linear time. 5-year plan, 10-year plan, get a mortgage, pay it off in 30 years, that things take time. If you get more into the quantum and energetic side of things, everything takes alignment. But also, the biggest thing around the idea of time that keeps you stuck is most people are stuck dwelling on the past. Or worse, anxious about the future. If you lack presence and intention, which is key here, so I'm going to star this, intention, presence. Eckhart Tolle wrote an entire book about this. His book is called The Power of Now. The only true moment, the only time that you actually have is right here, right now. And right here, right now. Like that is the power of now. It's right here, right now. If you continue dwelling on yesterday, 6 months, 2, 5, 10 years ago, you stay stuck in the thinking, feeling loop, creating more of the same unwanted results. And you're driving the same habits. So most people are stuck here. Most people are stuck dwelling on the past, which keeps you in autopilot, and that's why you keep looping. Same shit, different day. Now, this is exactly where I found myself years ago. When I wasn't happy, when I was unfulfilled, when I was going through the motions in my 9 to 5, you could pick up yesterday and put it on tomorrow, and I kept living the same day. And I complained about living life on a hamster wheel. So pay attention to the stories you tell. We live into the stories we tell. So in order for me to break my insanity loop, nothing was changing because I kept thinking, feeling, and doing the same thing over and over again, which just keeps me looping more of yesterday, creating more of yesterday. The opposite of that is so many people are anxious and fearful about the future. So again, living in disempowering emotional states. And when you're living in those disempowering emotional states, you don't take aligned habits. You're inconsistent. You procrastinate. So if you could overcome your obsession with the future, which the only guarantee you have is right now, right here, in this moment, and you can let go of what was. Take the wisdom, take the lesson, learn, let go, and move on. And you put all of your attention and energy into the now moment, into today, and you are living with intention and presence. That is how you create wanted results. That is how you change your current life and create a better future. Now let's put all of these into play because you have to understand the sequence. Once you understand all the pieces in play, now you stop living your life by default and you learn how to live it by design. So let's walk through the practical application of understanding this information. And I want to highlight, knowledge alone is not power. Just intellectually understanding this or reading books or listening to podcasts does not change your life. The change that you seek requires new habits, new action. It requires repetition, consistency, and implementation. So now let me give you a real world example. How do you put this into play? How do you overcome self, which will change circumstances, and you live in the now? The best place to start is your morning. How you spend your mornings sets the tone for the entire day. And most people wake up, I believe the statistic out there is 86% of the Western world, the first thing they do every single morning is look at their phone. So if the first thing you do every morning is pick up your phone and check email or scrolling through social media, there's no intention. Now you're already stuck in emergency mode or reaction or comparison or looking at what was and yesterday. So you have to become intentional with your mornings. So here's what I want you to do. The easiest way to do this is to get really clear on one thing you want, one area of life in which you are seeking change. So think about it. Do you want to better your health, your relationships, your business, your happiness, your finances? What area of life, what circumstance do you want to upgrade? Get really clear there, because your mind is a goal-achieving machine. It needs a target. So get really clear on the what. Start there. What do you want? What do you want your life to look like? Now, the second and most important is who. Who do I have to be? How would I need to be thinking, feeling, and acting every single day for the money, the love, the success to be natural for me? For the health, the fitness, it would have to become my lifestyle, meal planning and movement and being intentional. So you have to get really clear on the what you want, and then more importantly, the who you are being. So what does that look like for you? Once you understand the what and the who, the thoughts you need to be thinking, again, let's start here with the emotional states. So for example, if the current version of you is living in high stress, in fear, self-doubt, you procrastinate, inconsistent, and you're distracted or numbing out on vices. This is where most people live. So no judgment, but remember, awareness is the first step. So become aware and write out who you've been, the emotional states you're living from, the actions or inactions you're taking. Let's just get clear, because now you know, okay, well, if I want abundance, success, love, thriving relationships, business, health, happiness, the version of me who is stressed out, in fear, self-doubt, procrastinates, inconsistent, and numbing out on vices cannot create that reality. Impossible. So once you get clear on that, okay, well, who would I have to be? What version of me, how would I be thinking? What emotional states would I be living from? And what actions would I be taking? So for example, the opposite of all of this, I would have to regulate my nervous system. And again, this is morning practices. When you regulate your nervous system, it's like creating a strong Wi-Fi signal. And when you're regulated, now you have the power of choice. New choices create new habits create new results. Hopefully you're seeing the loop put together. So I would have to be regulated. I would have to be certain, have confidence in my future, in me, in my ability, self-trust. I would have to be consistent and have follow through. These seem like no-brainers, but I'm telling you, if you knew what to do, you'd already be doing it, right? So that's why you have to put a pen to paper, create clarity on who you've been. And then being distracted and numbing out on vices, you have to let some things go. And if you enjoy having a beverage, have a beverage. But a 12-pack a night's probably a problem. If you like social media, cool. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Let yourself scroll away for 10 minutes, but then get back to building the life that you want. So look at this. This next version of you, and this is exactly the process that I coach my clients through. This next version of you who is regulated, who is intentional in the morning, who has a clear aim and knows where they're going, who is certain and confident and consistent and has follow through. Wanted results become inevitable. So this is the missing link. When you're stuck dwelling on the past or anxious about the future, you can only keep looping in autopilot. And if you keep looping in autopilot, your circumstances won't change. You can't change your current results at the effect level. You have to change them at the root cause, the identity in which you operate from. Once you change how you show up daily, so the version of you, who you are being, and you start doing aligned actions, you will have wanted results. So this is the idea of the be, do, have principle, but you need all of these in play. So if I were you and I were listening and watching this, the first thing I would do, pen to paper, is write out who you've been. Then, more importantly, get really clear on what you want and what that version of you looks like, how you'd be thinking, the emotional states you'd be living from, and the habits you'd be taking. If you start showing up consistently as that version of you and you build the mindset muscle, the repetition and consistency, you start talking yourself into greatness. You're now living from different thoughts and emotions. You have that mental, emotional discipline. And when you have that, taking aligned actions just becomes who you are. When all of that is in play, when you are acting in alignment as this next version of you and living with intention and presence, wanted results and circumstances become a natural byproduct based on who you are being. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What questions do you have around this? Drop them down in the comment section. And remember, the first step to change is always awareness. If you haven't yet, grab the free life assessment on my website. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you're the first to know when new videos drop. And give me a thumbs up. I'll catch you on the next one.